everybody. Thanks for tuning in. This is Sandra Koenig with Fishbowl Roulette. For those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, this is a podcast of randomness, sort of, kind of. So here's how it works. I have a guest each time, and today I'm excited to tell you that I have my friend Bill Register on with us, calling in from New York City. Today, we will be talking a little bit about Bill and his story, but as always, we will be pulling random questions out of the fishbowl to see what the bowl has in store for Bill to talk to us about today. So the bowls are Hot Topics, Wild Card, and I have built a bowl especially for Bill. How's that sound, Bill?
That sounds great.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, well, first I'm going to introduce you because you are kind of a big wig. You're kind of a big deal, right?
Okay.
You you are. So for all of you who don't know why Bill is a big deal, so Bill is currently the Vice President of Operations for Niederlander Theaters out in New York City. Niederlander is, correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, I would call them a legacy family in the world of entertainment, in the world of theater.
That's correct.
So they have how many theaters in New York City?
9 Broadway theaters here in New York.
9 Broadway theaters in New York City. And then they have multiple theaters in different cities. I mean, I looked, there's Chicago, there's L.A., there's all over. I think
London,
Yeah, London. So everywhere. So you're not just a big deal because that's who you work for. You're a big deal because of all the things that you bring to the table, which include a degree from the University of Missouri after growing up in Lexington, Missouri, right? You got your degree in Bachelor of Arts in Theater. And from there you went to Chicago. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Had a job with Niederlander Theater.
That's right.
And then this is really, I kind of wanted you to dive into this a little bit before we talk about some of your other accomplishments, but you went on the road. You had a passion for doing some touring, not necessarily as a performer, but you worked with the likes of Julie Andrews, with Mandy Patinkin, Jerry Lewis in Damn Yankees. Like, that's a pretty good roster.
Yeah, for a first job right out of college, I got really lucky. That was all just at the Schubert Theater in Chicago. Now I think it's the Private Bank Theater. They sold the naming rights, but it's still owned by Niederlander. And then, after my short tenure there, I went on the road as a tour manager for Riverdance. So I was doing the Irish Jig across the U.S. and Canada for 2 years.
And are you still doing the Irish Jig is a better question.
Only today on St.
Only
Patrick's
today.
Day.
I was going to say, what's New York do? What are you doing out there? Are you hiding from the crowds or are you jumping in?
Oh, I'll be hiding from the crowds. Lots of green beer being vomited all over the street.
That sounds really delightful for your trek for your subway ride tomorrow into work. So
yes.
Well, before we dive into the fish bowls, can you just, wherever you want to begin, tell just a little bit about your story. How did you get from small town Lexington, Missouri into, first of all, even the world of theater, let alone doing what you do now on Broadway? I mean, you also sit on the board of the Times Square, I'm going to get it wrong, so give me the right official
Times Square Alliance. It's the bid that controls New Year's Eve and all of Times Square and makes sure all the stakeholders in the square are well taken care of.
Yeah, I've learned a lot about people in diapers because of your Times Square Board Alliance that I did not know was happening while I was here in Missouri trying to stay awake until midnight.
Yep.
But yeah, can you just share a little bit about your story from Lexington, Missouri to where you're at now?
Yeah, it's interesting. I get asked about my trajectory quite a bit because it is so unique. Sometimes I sit with a class from Boston College that comes down every year because my boss went there and hosts a class every year, and that it's quite a topic. So obviously, after high school in Lexington, which is a town of 4,500 people, having grown up on a farm of animals and gardens and trying to be, a self-sustaining family, I went to the University of Missouri in Columbia, Missouri to college, got my undergrad. I like to brag that John Hamm was in my class. I've got pictures of me playing a dog in Animal Farm, the musical with John Hamm, which I'm sure he doesn't want out anywhere. Yes, there's a musical of Animal Farm.
That's alarming.
But, yeah, it's alarming. But
I
when I
remember
was
that
at the,
book.
yes, when I was at the University of Missouri, though, I studied everything. I didn't just take one track. I did some performing. I worked in the scene shop. I did payroll for the scene shop. I worked in marketing. I worked in the box office. I tried to learn absolutely everything I could about the business of theater while I was there. So a bunch of us moved to Chicago together so we could have a network there and not just move there and know nobody. I had 1 month of rent paid on an apartment, $250 cash in my pocket, and no job.
Wow.
Which I would never recommend or do again in my wiser wisdom ages that I'm in now. But magically, I saw this posting for the assistant theater manager of the Schubert Theater. I was in the box office at the Touchstone Theater, which was the old Steppenwolf space, and the box office guy had read it and thrown it in the garbage, and I pulled it out and read it, and I said, you can apply to that. I could do that job. Total self-confidence that came from I don't know where, because who was I to think I could manage a Broadway roadhouse right out of college? It was a big leap. But I got my application in. They interviewed me 3 times over 6-7 weeks, and I got the job. Now, that sort of set my career, right? Because I could network with the union folks coming through the theater. The first show was Victor Victoria with Julie Andrews. Like you said, we had Jerry Lewis. We did Mandy Patinkin in concert. We had all kinds of amazing productions in my first 3 years out of college that I got to work on.
Did you, seriously, obviously, I know you and I know some of your story, but I did not know that part of your story. I would be like a pinch me moment. I mean, Julie Andrews and Victor Victoria, are you kidding me right now? And Mandy Patinkin and Jerry, that's wild.
The funny thing about that, it was a pinch me moment, because the funny thing is I grew up on a VHS tape that my mother recorded off the television of The Sound of Music, and I think I watched it once a week for my entire teenage years. So to have her in the theater that I was working in was sort of overwhelming and scary and exciting. And
did you get to talk to her?
Only once briefly. When when the air conditioner blew and smoke started coming through the vents. It was also a heat wave summer that summer in Chicago, summer of '95. It was over 600 people died from the heat because Chicago's just not used to those temperatures. So it was a brutal summer there that summer. It was a real pinch me moment. And as I networked with the shows coming in from New York, I started to meet all of the company managers. Those are the people that manage the payroll of the actors and the crew that travel with the show. And they all kept saying, oh, you should go on the road. You should go on the road. You'd be a great company manager. You should go on the road. And finally, they called me from Riverdance, and Jeff Booth was like, you'd be great. I hear you'd be great. And I said, well, I'm thinking about taking this job to New York. He's like, no, you're coming to Dallas. You're going to start on Riverdance. And literally, I packed up everything. My dad drove it back to Missouri, and I flew to Dallas and started a 2-year tour with Riverdance.
Wow.
We played every province of Canada. I learned how to get Irish kids in and out of Canada. We also had 8 Russians on that show, Russian folk ballet dancers. So they had even more complications in '98 to travel the country. I did that for 2 years. Pre 9/11, I was chartering 727 flights to move 100 Irish kids and crew around the country. And our buses would drive right out onto the tarmac, and we'd get off the bus and onto the plane, and they'd say, Bill, you ready to take off? And I'd be like, yes, let's go. It was insane. It was totally insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you miss it?
Yeah. Oh, no. It is brutally hard work.
Oh, I can't even imagine. Are you glad you did it, though?
Oh, I'm so glad I did it. It allowed me to apprentice into the Association of Theatrical Press Agents and Managers, which is an IATSE-based union that you have to be in to work on Broadway. And so when I came off the road, I came to New York. Niederlander gave me a job as the assistant theater manager at the Gershwin Theater, the second largest theater on Broadway. And I took my board certification exam and became a member of the union. I just got my 25-year pin this year. So that was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Man, you're old. You're
Yeah,
younger than
thanks.
me, though. You're younger than me, though,
Yeah,
so I can say that.
yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's cool. I
Yeah.
didn't really realize all that. So, and now
Yeah.
you've kind of transitioned into, because I do want to talk a little bit like about your love of historical buildings.
Yeah.
Share a little bit about that, and then we'll talk a little bit about the Palace Theater before we see what the bowl has for you today, Bill.
Oh, okay.
Do
I'm
you
chewing
feel
my fingernails.
nervous?
I do. um, so Lexington, Missouri there was a Civil War battle there called the Battle of the Hemp Bales, and the town has been very focused on preservation of its historic homes. There was a homes tour every year that tens of thousands of people would come from all around the Missouri area to, tour these old homes. And my grandmother was the primary leader of that event. So
Meme.
the memer, yeah, she was really, really passionate about home preservation and history preservation. So I kind of grew up in it. And so when you get tasked with maintaining some of the most historic theaters on Broadway, if you don't have the passion for it, you just don't belong. So, my first job out of the gate in this position was to renovate the Richard Rodgers Theater, where Hamilton has been for the last 11 years, top to bottom, $13 million, and with very little prep time. So that, it's sort of also something you have to learn on the job. You get to work with the Landmark Preservation Commission of New York City because most all of our buildings are landmarked, which is great because that means they're going to be here forever, and that excites me. But what really sort of makes it exciting for me is that, yes, you might be going to see Hamilton, but Hamilton is painted on the canvas of the theater, right? So you may not pay attention to that little cherub that we found covered over with plaster that's now painted gold, but the whole feeling and ambience of the theater enhances the story that's on stage. Whether anybody agrees with me or not, I believe it's fact. So, some producers.
I'm going to interject just quickly into that because, as you know, I'm a big believer in the energy of people and the energy of the world and things. And you were so gracious when I was out there for my birthday to get us into that theater. It almost feels like hallowed ground. And I don't say that lightly, but there is it's fun. It's all the things, but it's like there's this sort of hush that kind of comes over you when you go into it. And I'm going to say that that's true for a lot of historical buildings because of what the ones that are being taken care of and have that energy poured into it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a pretty awesome experience to give the audience. And you're right. They may not even know they're having it, but it does something.
It is hallowed ground. If I had my Landmark Commission document in front of me, I could name off the incredibly legendary people that have been on that stage. I mean, Bob Fosse and Gordon Verdon worked on that stage. The history of Broadway is on that stage. And so, it's legendary. The Palace Theater, for example, Harry Houdini performed on that stage. Sarah Bernhardt performed on that stage. Sophie Tucker, Fanny Bryce. We all know Fanny Bryce from Funny Girl. So it is hallowed ground, and these theaters are so spectacular and so important to New York City. Broadway is New York's #1 grossing tourist attraction, and that includes the sports team. So we outgross pretty much everything in New York City, and that's because going to Broadway and coming to New York City are synonymous.
True.
It's rare that people. I have some friends come and they didn't want to see a Broadway show, and I was flat out offended.
I was going to say, did you break up? Did you break up with them?
I hope they don't hear this because they'll know who they are. But I was like, what? You don't want to see a Broadway show? That's what I do, for goodness sake. So, having Jimmy Niederlander, my boss, and his right-hand man, Nick, our COO, put me in charge of maintaining these buildings, it's really something. They've let me spend millions of dollars to maintain them, to keep them fresh, to keep them, when a person from a small town in the Midwest saves up for their entire lives to come to New York City one time to walk into a Broadway theater, it should overwhelm them. And I think we've really done that. I think we've really created a brand of theaters under the Niederlander brand that it's a luxury brand now. It's really like I call us the best on Broadway. My colleagues at Schubert and APG would probably disagree, but
Well, they're wrong. I'm just kidding. I don't know who they are.
there should be healthy competition, right? No, it's a big deal. And then, of course, to be able to work on a project like the Palace Theater is just mind-boggling, too.
And it's possible that I'm getting ready to say something that I'm making up. So please feel free to, obviously the whole point of the show is to be transparent and tell me if I'm making this up. But am I right in remembering that you still have groups that will come from Lexington, Missouri, high school groups? Or you've had a high school group?
Yes, I've had some high school groups come from Lexington. My high school theater teacher, Mary Kate Alkire, went to the school in Warrensburg, and she's got some still relationships there. And so I welcome some of her colleagues' groups into the theaters and she talks about them. One thing that that I love is that I can provide access that people don't get. Like, how often do you get to walk into a Broadway theater by yourself? And
I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this, so we can edit it out. I'm winking at my guy, but we really can edit it out. You took us into the Palace, and I stood on that stage of Hallowed Ground, and now I feel embarrassed, but I did bust out a chorus of a Girl Scout song just to say I could say I sang on and you were like, get off. But that's a big deal. And so when you do that for people, what does that mean? Like, walk me through your experience when you're watching people walk into your world for the first time.
Well, it's what keeps me going, right? It's what drives me. It's the most exciting experience, and I love getting to share these temples of Broadway theater to people who wouldn't normally get to see them in that kind of way. So I'm happy to get to do it. I love to give tours. There's, my boss's kids' school. I get to every year take a group of history kids through one of the theaters and talk about it. And it's just the most exciting thing ever. But it's also what reminds me of why I, sometimes work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. So it's a great experience.
Did you experience Broadway before you went to Broadway? Like as a kid?
That's a great question. I will confess that my very first Broadway show was the tour of Cats.
That was mine too. That was mine too, Bill, and I still look back on it and I don't understand it. Go ahead.
Well, I saw it not at Radio City Music Hall, at the Music Hall in downtown Kansas City. It was the tour, and my high school theater teacher, Mary Kate, took us there as a school group, and I saw it, and I just was like overwhelmed. But now I'll go back even further. I saw my first Tony Awards on TV in my little farmhouse there in Lexington in 1984. My father, who controlled the TV and mostly watched sports, had gone to bed and said, y'all watch whatever y'all want to watch, right? And my mother and I turned on the Tony Awards, and I sat mesmerized for 3 hours. It was at the Gershwin Theater, which I now have renovated and managed.
That is wild.
And guess who the hosts were? Julie Andrews and Robert Bresson. Right?
Are you serious?
So, I'm serious. I'm serious.
That's why I'm all in on energy.
Yeah. I saw that and we finished watching, and I looked at my mother and I said, "That's what I'm going to do for my career." And she kind of giggled and thought I was being silly. And I said, No. Even if I'm the guy that sweeps the floors, that's what I'm going to do. So I sort of had a laser focus from 1984. I was 13. From the time I was 13, all I could think about was working on Broadway.
Wow. Not many kids get that gift either.
No. And oftentimes when I speak to student groups, I'm like, I was not lucky to have had that, but that was just my experience. Sometimes I encourage people, go to school and take all the classes you want and see what sticks with you that, gets you really super excited. So, I consider myself lucky, but it's, everybody's got a different path. Yeah,
absolutely. That's really, wow, that's really special. I'm going to really give you a lot of crap this summer when we're at the lake about being that person. That's pretty. Okay. That's pretty great. Okay, so speaking of the lake, so all the listeners know, obviously I do know Bill. Bill's cousin, Bob, is my partner. And I often tell, I don't know that you know this, Bill, but I often tell Bob, like, not only did I get you, I got Bill. And
Aw.
I do feel like that. Like, I just feel like there was almost an immediate kinship between you and I. No pressure to agree. No pressure to agree. This is
No,
just
I
my
100% agree. 100% agree.
And you are one of the most kind, funny, outrageous people I know. I'm not going to talk about how outrageous you are. I will let the listeners know that prior to meeting Bill, never laying eyes on him, he felt the need to send me a gift. I'll just say it was adult in nature. And I thought he was kidding. I thought he was kidding that he had sent it. And I get a text from Bob right after the interaction. He's like, it's already shipped. I was like, what? And then 3 days later, well, there it was, a little surprise in my mailbox. So Bill is not afraid to mix it up on any level. And I love that about you. So,
life is hard. We got to smile at some things, right?
We do have to
need
smile.
Silly things to smile, yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about the lake. I feel honored that I got to experience the lake with you last year, the first time in how many years?
It had been 30 years since we've been to that resort at the Lake of the Ozarks, yeah.
Why was that? Can you go into that a little bit about what the lake means to you and a little bit about your family?
Yeah, well, so it's funny. I'm going to say this as a person who lives blocks from the East River in Manhattan, which is the estuary from the ocean, right? There were dolphins swimming in it the other day. Growing up as a kid, the Lake of the Ozarks was everything to me and my family and my cousins, because that was where we got together every summer and had the best times of our lives, right? We looked forward to it all year long. We saved our quarters. It was the most exciting thing. We were there with our grandparents and all of our cousins and aunts and uncles, and it was magical. It's a magical place. Now, I didn't see an ocean until I was almost 18. So for a lot of lower middle class kids that grow up in the Midwest, the Lake of the Ozarks is really special because while it's got a bad reputation, you might hear someone call it the Redneck Riviera. We saw Ozark, where it was all about drug smuggling and money laundering. I mean, it's
people smuggling heroin and Bibles out there on the Ozark Riviera or whatever they call it, Redneck Riviera.
Yeah,
it's not true. I don't think.
But it's a really a bad rap. I tell people here all the time, you should go. You can't judge it until you go. Even though sitting on a beach is magical, just going to this beautiful lake that's created from a dam that gives energy to the Midwest there, it's just a special place. And for me, to get my family back there into that resort and to just be together again in that space, it was one of the greatest things I've ever done. It was just one of the best things that I will cherish for the rest of my life. It was so great. And I'm excited we're going back this summer. Hopefully the weather's better. But the Lake of the Ozarks, people, is a magical spot. It's gorgeous. You can do everything you can do at an ocean, but more. You can't water ski on an ocean. The fishing is great. It's just a magical place. It's really special to our family and many families in the Missouri area and people from around Missouri. It's a special place.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I have this visual of us being there. I don't know if you remember, but we were sort of all strung out and I mean physically, not like strung out like people, but like literally not all sitting together, but we were just sitting out there overlooking the lake. Some people were laying in chairs. Carol Jean was in her hammock chair. I think you were down talking to Jor and Bob, and it was just on this concrete wall. And I think we just hung out there for like a couple of hours. Not doing anything. Everybody totally relaxed. And I just remember thinking in that moment, this is pretty cool. And you engineered that entire thing.
Yeah. I mean, we started going there, I think, before I was 10 years old. So I grew up on that rock wall that we were all hanging out on.
Wow.
We played shuffleboard there with my grandfather, Papa. And, we grew up there.
That's pretty cool.
In that very spot. Yeah, it's pretty great.
All right. Are you ready to dive into the ball? Or the ball?
Oh, gosh.
The ball. I say wrong stuff on here on purpose so other people feel better. That's not true at all. I say wrong stuff on here because I say wrong stuff. Okay. I actually have to pull the questions for you. I just am hoping that you trust me.
Oh, gosh. I wish I had a glass of wine.
That I am not pinpointing the question. I am going to give you the choice. I have a fishbowl that's built to Bill, We're gonna visit all three, Bill. So
Okay. Okay.
don't. And then I've got wild card and hot topics.
Oh goodness. Let's go wild card for 200, Sandra.
I know. Listen. This is gonna be. We're gonna be on one of us is gonna be Vanna, and I think it's gonna be you. Okay. Wild card. Let's see. Let's go with this one. Oh, I do sometimes when I see these, I always think, I hope this is the one, and it almost happens every time. If you got arrested today, Bill.
Oh, gosh.
What does the headline say, and who are you calling first?
Oh, my goodness. This is hilarious because I've just discovered watching people get arrested on YouTube.
Wait, that's a channel?
No, you could just Google, like, crazy drunk people getting arrested at airports, and there's just endless videos of it. And
that is amazing. Okay.
Oh, goodness.
I don't know why our country's in trouble. Go ahead.
Okay, the headline would be, you have to know Times Square. In Times Square, we have these costume characters that are unlicensed.
They're awful.
People who are most likely undocumented workers, and they dress up as Elmo, and they aggressively panhandle. I've seen them even hold people's children from them until they give everybody that surrounds them cash. They're awful. So the headline would be...
Beats Winnie the Pooh.
Register in county, Elmo in hospital.
I love it. You are not wrong. I did not know that. I did not know that that's what was going on. I mean, poor Bob had to have his hand on my belt loop the whole time we were there to pull me away from suspicious looking things. Yeah. But those they are super aggressive.
It's frightening, and most of the people that they attack or even assault are from out of the country, and so they're not here when the court hearing comes, and they don't get prosecuted. So it's pretty bad, and I having to work in Times Square and walk it through Times Square multiple times a day, I worry that I might punch Elmo. So that's the headline.
And who are you calling if you do punch Elmo?
Oh, God. I will be calling you, Sandra Koenig. Because you will get it, and you will bail me out.
I'll be there. I'll catch an airplane. I'll be there. I'm coming, Bill. I'm coming.
I'll give you the wire information so you can book my bail.
Perfect. Oh, you have more faith in my bank account than I do, but I'm on it. I will. If I have to aggressively panhandle to bust you out for punching Elmo, I will. I'm on it. Okay. We've got hot topics or Bill Register.
Let's go to hot topics.
You're scared of Bill Register's bowl.
Yeah, I am really scared.
Smart. All right. Wait, I can't tell if it's upside down. I didn't bring my cheaters. All right, this is kind of long, so I need you to think. Put your thinking ears on.
Okay.
We see more and more public figures and brands being called out or canceled almost instantly. Do you think accountability culture is helping society grow, or is it making people afraid to be real?
That's a good one. That's a real good one.
And you're in New York. You better watch what you say.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of making people afraid, but also holding people to account. Gosh, let's take an example. There's so many apples to oranges, but what do you do with the art of a person who's of an artist who's a bad person, right? We can think of maybe some film people who have been proven to be horrible people, but in some cases they've produced great art. What do you do with that art?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, right? I always think about Michael Jackson, and listen, I will. If a song came on right now, I would bust it out. I would not turn it off. And yet I go, what am I doing?
Right.
There's no denying his talent, and yet everything that followed him his whole life, which I guess for some people is murky, but yeah, I'm like,
Right.
He didn't get fully canceled, and yet then there's other people, like, I don't know if, did you see that Chris, is it Noth, the guy that was Mr. Big on Sex and the City?
Yeah.
He has done a few interviews now coming out speaking about that time and kind of calling out Jessica Parker on it. I don't know who's right or wrong. In full disclosure, I haven't listened to a full interview. But how many years ago was that? And it took him this long to come out and speak about it, which I find, and that I felt like that happened overnight. I felt like there was accusations and he was gone.
Yeah. It's a tough one because we live in currently. I mean, the historical things are tougher to look at, but currently we live in a land where the truth is hard to find. And there's a lot of noise out there that may not be based in fact. And so if we don't have a free press, journalists that can dig into the facts and report on it factually, we're screwed. We're totally screwed. And that's the kind of worry. I might be going to an extreme, but I think there has to be a little bit of hold people to account, but there also has to be a little bit of find out the truth before you cancel them. And then what do you do with them? Like Diddy, that's an easy one, right?
Right. Yeah, it should be. That should have been a real easy one. And I guess, yes, he's in prison, but like, I don't know, do I think the full breadth of the law followed him? No.
No. And he's going to come out and make more money and be a gazillionaire again. And yeah. I don't know.
There's the video of him punching the shit out of the girlfriend who finally had the chance to, the balls to come forward in that hotel hallway being drug off. And that somehow was kind of dismissed.
And yet our journalists keep showing that video over and over and over again. And who's seeing it? Teenage boys. Yep. Right?
Yep.
There's a great documentary on Netflix called The Manosphere. I forget the guy's name. It's disturbing, but we'll talk about that at the lake. But there has to be, cancel culture is something. It's something so new, but that's because we all have this computer in our hands that's constantly feeding us information and misinformation. And so I think people do need to be held to account. I think, though, that trickles down from the top down. When you elect a president who says it's okay to grab him by the pee,
right,
you got a real cultural problem.
Yeah, I know. I that was back in the first time he was elected that came out, and the guy that he said it to got fired. He got fired, but it's a whole. And then there are people who don't even know that happened. I'm like, well, it's not even. That's not even getting hidden.
Yeah, he was canceled. That guy that was interviewing.
Yeah,
for not standing up to him. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even think of his name. So. Yeah, it's an interesting. I don't know. I do think maybe the cancel side has slowed down a little bit. But it is one of those things that So I'm gonna. I do not want you to feel defined by this. And again, we can edit this. So you're a gay man from Lexington, Missouri, who converted to Judaism.
Correct.
There's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of opportunity for you to I would think, to constantly go around being offended if you wanted to, right?
1,000%. Yeah.
I mean, you're like, daily. How do you step out of that feeling of like holding people to account without looking at somebody? For the most part, there are people that I wish. I mean, I'm just going to say it that I'd never encountered, but. How do you step outside of that feeling?
Well, so it's interesting that you bring that up because when I started telling people, I've been gay all my life, but when I started telling people I was converting to Judaism, I had several people look at me and be like, "Why would you do that?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And they would literally say to me, "Why would you want even more hate coming at you?"
Wow.
Right? People don't like you because you're gay, and now you want to be a Jew. And, I'm very proud of my Judaism and my Jewish identity and my gay identity. But how do I step out of it? Because I know I'm not always getting the truth. And I'm a well-educated person. I know what it is to do, be engaged in a debate. People don't know how to debate. They just want to disagree. So how do I step out of it? It's a good question. I think I've just learned that you have to step back and look. And, another big thing I've always said, to error is human. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Now, if your imperfections come at the harm of another person, you should be canceled.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I'm with you on that. And there is a little bit of a subculture that's happening now that seems like it's more dominant than I hope that it is, that's out there. That's an interesting. I do know that you step back. I think that you are a person, and you'll probably disagree with me on this, because, of all the therapies that you seek, that's okay. We all seek therapy. You are really good about, this is what happened. Now I'm moving into this next thing. And I don't know if that's self-taught or if you but I think there's a real lesson in that, to be able to sort of disconnect from the energy you don't want to be a part of, or the experience you don't want to be a part of, and just move into where you want to be.
Yeah, 100%. My biggest tool used to be compartmentalization. I'm going to put that in this box, and I'll open that box when I'm ready to open that box. I don't necessarily do that so much anymore, but, I can identify within myself what I need. And if you're not what I need, I'll talk to you next Tuesday.
Right. I'm going to feel good, the fact that you most always text me back, so that makes me feel good. All right, Bill, you ready for the Bill Fishbowl?
It's getting deep. Okay, I don't know. Hit me.
All right. This has the most questions. Let's see. I'm shuffling them around. It's like a magic 8-ball. Maybe I should get a magic 8-ball for this. That would be fun. All right. Well, this is just in your world, so this is not that deep. And I really, really hope that you tell the real clear truth on this. What would the audience be shocked to know is going on behind the curtains?
Are we talking the literal curtains of Broadway or the figurative curtains of my life?
Which way do you want to go with that question? I'll allow you to choose.
Oh, dear. Well, I can try to touch on both, but I tell people all the time, I work with a lot of contractors and vendors who know nothing about theater, right? And maybe you've seen a couple Broadway shows in their entire life. But I tell them, because Broadway is very complex. It's a tricky business. So I always tell them, if they're a new vendor, I'll say, we like to tell people who don't work in the industry that the drama of Broadway is not exclusive to the stage. Right? In fact, most of the drama is behind the curtain.
I mean, I'm just going to say it. I'm imagining fights. I'm imagining sex. I'm imagining maybe some partying. I'm imagining all of that, because they're together all the time. And how many shows a day? And maybe I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong, because I don't want people to but that's just life.
Yeah.
I mean,
really
I've been known to fight with the people I work with. I can't say that I've slept with any of them, but, there has been some parties.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all happening backstage. It's all happening. So surprised about the curtains of my life?
Yeah. Let's talk. You brought it up. I feel like you want to talk about it.
Well, listen, I've been going to therapy 3 times a week for quite a while now.
People in the Midwest are right now going, do what now? Actually, not therapy. You're doing like psychoanalyst, different. That's different. There's not psychoanalyzing going on in Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
No, I'm actually not in psychoanalytic therapy. I'm in cognitive behavioral therapy, which doesn't normally happen 3 times a week. But I felt like once a week I wasn't getting work done fast enough. I wanted to get more work.
You wanted to fast forward.
Yeah. I have an executive coach, which I think has been some of the most interesting work I've done on how to be a successful leader. I don't have a huge staff that reports to me, but because we're there's so few of us for 9 Broadway theaters, a 6th-floor office building, and a old decrepit building with a Russian restaurant. There's so few of us that oversee those properties. It's a very intense environment. And so I'm the one that has to keep everybody on track and happy and productive, right? So I have an executive coach. What else? Yeah. How about that? That's enough.
Yeah, you're like, and the curtains just dropped. And the curtains are down.
And scene.
You know what? That's okay. That's okay, Bill, because we're about to do the lightning round, which means you can't think. This is where we get to wrap up the show, but there's just little to no thinking. I say that every time, but then I always find something to comment on. But you just got to answer.
Wait.
You ready?
We're already wrapping up? We barely started.
Everybody wants me to go longer. I can't. And I take that as a compliment. So,
okay, hit me. Let's do it.
Okay. When do you know a show won't make it?
Oh, that's a tough one. There's no formula. If it's a real stinker, it's a real stinker, right?
Like
for
just
every
out of the box, you're like, this is bad.
Out of the box, yeah. For every Hamilton, there's 10 real stinkers. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Was coming out a process or a moment or both?
It was a process, and because I didn't want to have the moment, I just committed to being myself. And about 10 years after I had that thought, one of my aunts came to New York and outed me.
What?
Said we all know you're gay. You can stop pretending. And I was like, I'm not pretending. And I said something like, well, I'm glad you figured it out because you'd be pretty stupid not to.
This all makes sense. I just had a lot of things click in my brain.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that. That's crazy, and also it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, who's your favorite cousin?
How very dare you ask that question?
Or maybe who's your favorite cousin adjacent?
Well, Cousin Bob is my favorite cousin. Period. Hands down. Sorry, George.
Sorry, George. Yeah, I know. George's cool too, but it's what it is.
Yeah.
All right, Your Life is a Musical. What's the title?
Oh shit! It's I've thought about this actually. It's
If you don't say Raining Men, I'm going to be really upset. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Actually, that's pretty good. Ambition! Exclamation point. That's what the title of my musical.
All right, I like it.
But you got to have an exclamation point, and it's got to be in italics. Yeah.
Ambition! Exclamation point. That's like the Broadway equivalent of Wall Street.
Yeah, maybe.
I kind of like it. All right. When do you feel fully free?
Oh. Oh shit! I'm gonna have to talk to my therapist about this one.
Please don't have your therapist call me.
I'm going to. I used to feel fully free when I was water skiing because there's no sound. You're just the water in the boat. You can't hear people talking, and you're watching the water. You're gliding on top of the water. Yeah. At my adult age, I'm not sure what that answer would be. Probably when I'm sitting in a Broadway theater watching a show.
That's cool. Are you going to try to water ski this year?
Considering what happened last year, I think that's unwise, but I might.
Yeah, let's see where we go. I mean, everybody's, well, you and Bob are both in a little bit better shape. I am not, but, whatever. As Jor would say, put a little athleticism into it. I'm like, get out of here. You work out every day.
Yeah.
All right, last one. What is the most the show must go on moment you've ever seen?
Post 9/11. I was in a small theater here on 43rd Street on 9/11, and it was a Tuesday, and it was supposed to open on Thursday. No, now I'm not remembering the exact days of the week, but we were supposed to open shortly, like a day or two after 9/11, and Broadway closed one day and reopened. And I think it was a collective of the city needs us.
Wow.
People need to come to Broadway to rebuild their humanity. So it was scary and exciting time to be here because you literally saw people coming into the theater with the look of horror on their face and leaving with a smile. So, yeah, that would be my answer.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Thank you for sharing that. I didn't know.
Welcome.
That's what I like about, this is what I like about the format that I've come up with. I never know which way the question is going to go. And that's compelling. So thank you for sharing that. So
you're welcome.
Well, Bill, thank you for being on with me today. Did you enjoy yourself?
I loved it. Let's do it again.
Okay, let's do it again. As always, to my listeners, if you liked us, if you found something valuable, please leave us a review. We're on Spotify, we're on Amazon, we're on Apple, iHeart, YouTube. There is a webpage coming and a community coming as well. So I am really beginning to have more and more fun doing this. And I just hope that you guys continue returning and are having fun too. And sharing just our humanity together, man. Like, let's just do this together. Bring some light.
Yeah, we need this bad right now. So thank you for having me, Sandra.
Well, you're welcome, Bill. I love you.
Love you too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.